Hey, Crawl Spacers, welcome to our third Spider History, examining what if titles for Spider Man. And of course, you demanded him to return. The man, the myth, the goblin is back. JR, welcome back.
Oh, I I was losing my voice. I had to go upstairs and get some. Oh,
No,
hi,
you had
Joe.
a month. You had a month to go
I
to
know, but
get ready.
it just, I'm too old for this, and it just to feed this your insatiable demand for, you know.
Okay. Let me get the defib. I'm gonna
Yeah,
defib the box right next to you. Bam!
I was losing my voice though. So anyway,
All right, let me get the images up. We are starting off with one of your favorite heroes. It's not Spider Man,
that's Spider-Man. That's right.
which is the Punisher. And what if the Punisher had killed Daredevil with Spider Man in the background of this one?
Yeah. Now
From
this is
volume 2 of What
like,
If number 26, we're
yeah.
looking at.
Yeah. Now this is a segment is Potpourri in honor of George Barrowman. Who
Absolutely.
always did the Potpourri. But actually, this is just kind of a mishmash of stories that maybe they're not great, but I like for some reason or another because they just kind of made sense in a certain kind of context, or one that was particularly really goofy that we'll get into.
Right,
uh,
right.
but anyway, this one I picked because I think it was actually one of the few comics that paints it's one of those that paints a very real picture of just what might happen if you have people like this running around. If you have somebody like Frank Castle running around,
Mm-hmm.
there are going to be casualties. All our heroes aren't going. And this is a story where, nobody, everybody doesn't die, as like I said, lazy fanfic. Anyway, so this story starts out a thug burst into the Kingpin's office. Kingpin's having a meeting. He's not too happy about it. But what if it's something really important, boss? What if? And he tells the Kingpin, what if the Punisher had killed Daredevil? Well, we find out that what had happened was, Daredevil and, the Punisher got into a little, dust up. And the Punisher does not mean, the Punisher is not willing to kill another superhero. He tries to stay out of their way for the most part. But Daredevil, being self-righteous little schmuck, keeps showing up and trying to foil the Punisher. So the Punisher shoots him with a tranquilizer dart. Unfortunately, instead of falling right, Daredevil falls left and off the side of a building.
Real quick, Kurt Busiek wrote this, had a great Avengers run. And also Luke McDaniel, who I think he did Daredevil in also at some point. Anyway, yeah, here is what JR was talking about. And then Spider-Man shows up.
Yeah, at this time, when the continuity was taking place, Spider-Man and Daredevil hadn't shared each other's secret identities. I always figured Matt knew Peter was Spider-Man for a long time because he'd met them both. But obviously, Peter would not have known Matt. The blind guy was Daredevil. Well, so Spider-Man goes to Nelson and Murdoch's offices and asks Foggy if it's real. Is this true? Foggy said, "Yeah, it's true. It's all true." So Spider-Man is, he's going to bring the Punisher down. He feels like he should have done it. He tolerated the Punisher for comic book reasons, because the Punisher's a good character. So Spider-Man's not going to put him in jail or kill him. So
as soon to be seen in Spider-Man Brand New Day, coming to theaters this year.
Yes, indeed. Brought to you in glorious color by John Bernthal. But Spider-Man, he's going to take the Punisher down. Now he's gotten too far. Everybody thinks the Punisher killed Daredevil. They don't realize it's an accident. Spider-Man's out for blood. Well, Foggy Nelson is out for blood too, but in another way. He decides that he is going to blow the lid off on all of the crime and corruption in New York City. All the crooked politicians, all the nasty business going on, everything. Some information they have had, obviously being lawyers, they know where the bodies are buried, but also he also has a benefactor who's given him a lot of other information. Well, he meets with Ben Urich and he decides we're going to go public on all of this. Good, right? No. So a lot of this corruption gets exposed. Unfortunately, in the background, Spider-Man has finally found the Punisher, and the Punisher realizes that, again, an enraged Spider-Man is no one to mess with, and the Punisher realizes how lucky he's been in prior confrontations, that Spider-Man was always holding back, and this time he ain't holding back. So the Punisher does what the Punisher does. He unloads.
Oh, ouch.
Yep.
Ouch.
He unloads.
He takes Spider-Man. He hits him.
I have no more tranquilizer darts, and he can't dodge. I shot him in the shoulder. It's a messy wound, but not a fatal one. Just shock and lots of blood. So he shot to wound. He didn't shoot to kill. He shot the wound. Unfortunately, the blood loss and the fall caused Spider-Man to lose consciousness. He is arrested. He is captured and revealed to be Peter Parker. Well, this is one problem I had with the story, is that I don't think that Aunt May would have been hung out to dry like she was. Essentially what happens is now old enemies decide they're going to they can't get to Spider-Man now. He's under heavy guard and restraint in the hospital, and he's under heavy sedation, and nobody can get to him. So they're going to get taken another way. I don't think that Jonah or Robbie would have, or anybody would have let May Parker be hung out to dry, which she is. Somebody would have gone and got her and took, no, this wouldn't have happened. But this is how the story unfolds. So Spider-Man is incapacitated and he's out of action. And then the mayor of New York decides that he's going to step in, and he is not going to he says, I know what happens when hoods start killing hoods. Everything goes to hell. So we're not going to have this happen with superheroes. We're not going to have superheroes going after other superheroes. We're not going to have this kind of bloodbath. So, nobody does nothing. Nobody avenges Spider-Man or Daredevil or anything. Well, not everybody gets the message, obviously, because not everybody works on the same side of the law. Cloak and Dagger, for example, decide to go after the Punisher and bring him to justice. And the Punisher kind of realizes that, boy, he has really got himself into a fix here, because he's going to be marked by. But he also realizes that something else is going on. He may have set something, and things may have been set in motion that he hasn't quite got a handle on. And he finds out that, what happens is all these politicians and things are being taken down. But unfortunately, it also cost Foggy and Ben Murdoch their lives. And the Punisher steps up his war on crime, but he finds out that the ranks are being depleted. The Magia is leaving town. Why? And Caesar Cicero, who actually we saw back in the Tablet saga, he says, we're leaving town. All this exposure of crooks and hoods, it was all, you've been played, Punisher. The competition has all been, we're all being taken out by the guy, the one man. You're a fool. And guess who that one man is? Guess who's unleashed all this, gotten rid of all the competition, and now has the city the way he wants it? The Kingpin. But there's one more card to be played. And we find out later that, Spider-Man Peter gets out of the hospital, and somebody tells him that Aunt May is dead. And so Peter goes looking for the guy responsible. And it's
oh man. Yep.
And this is where the Punisher really realizes he is in deep shit.
He messed up. Yeah. He's not going to win.
So what he does
is
Peter is about to throw him off a building. Peter's about to kill him. But the Punisher unloads a full round right in Peter's chest.
Oh, man.
Yep. Well, Punisher now realizes that he's been played, that the Kingpin has set all of this up. The Kingpin got rid of all his competition. The Kingpin got Spider-Man released from the hospital so he could go after the Punisher. And so the Punisher now has been severely weakened and is at the mercy of the Kingpin. He's no match for the Kingpin now in his weakened state. But the Punisher, like Batman, always has a backup plan. Yeah. The Punisher had a feeling he wasn't going to get out of this alive. Mm-hmm. So he planted a bomb with a timer.
All right, take him out.
And the Kingpin sees a note that if I didn't get back in time to turn this off, kaboom. And it's kaboom. The Kingpin is done. But so, and crime is kind of eliminated there for a while in New York. But the problem is, it took a price. Daredevil, the Punisher, Spider-Man, Aunt May, Ben Urich, Foggy Nelson. A lot of people paid the ultimate price for this. What happened, and I felt that this is one reason I picked this
good one
is because I felt that in a real world, this is what would happen. There would be a high body count on both sides. We wouldn't have, little, Punch and Judy fights and everybody walks away. No. This exposed the brutal reality of what happens, what would really happen if we had people like this running around. So
now you say this next one is Goofy. I'm ready for Goofy.
We go from the sublime to the ridiculous.
Number 42, Volume 2. What if Spider-Man had kept his 6 arms?
And it's not necessarily so much that Spidey keeps his 6 arms. It's why he keeps his 6 arms. Folks, I don't know how many. Oh, by the way, I don't buy too many of these because there's just way too many variations. But I had to get 6-arm Spidey just for this.
Oh, how cute is he?
Just for this occasion. Unfortunately, I don't like the bobbleheads because they tend to be the heads tend to be too heavy and the body can't support them. This one though is working, but a lot of them don't. Anyway,
JR, did you get this one? I rearranged my desk and I've got some Funkos here. I got the meme one where they're pointing at each other.
I have that one, but mine's still mint in box. So
I got the box back there. Also, did you get this one? I thought you might like this one, the Nicholas Hammond one.
I've got that one. Yep.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
I don't, like I said, there's way too many variations. I'm getting to the point I don't need any more toys. Really, it's kind of like one of these days I am going to die with the most toys. But I get things like I've got like the Iron Spider and the Superior Spider-Man and the Osco. I get some of the special variations, but I don't get all the variations. But I had to get that one. So anyway.
And did you get the Brad figure? I mean, this one's good.
Well, I have the Marvel Legends Brad, except I got
there you go. Does he have the earring and is Mary Jane with him?
The earrings. I got to get him an earring. Well, I have the Marvel Legends Brad. I brought him out when you made me do 4 of those stupid stories in a row.
That is very true. That's very true.
Oh, my Lord.
And now the writer on this one, I don't recognize the writer. This is a Michael Gallagher and a Kevin West on pencil.
Now, this is definitely a fill-in issue. It just, you're when you see, and again, not to make fun of these people, but when you see a name you've never heard of before, a name you didn't see before and you haven't seen since, it's a fill-in issue.
May be his first and last issue.
It's a fill-in issue.
No disrespect, but I've never heard of him. So.
Now, as everybody knows, in the classic issue number 100 of Amazing Spider-Man, Peter decides he wants to live a normal life. He wants to marry Gwen. So he's going to get rid of his spider powers once and for all. So he does what any reasonable person does. He goes into his lab and he throws a whole bunch of chemicals together, shakes them up, and then drinks it like it's soda pop. Perfectly logical, right? Well, he's lucky that all that happened to him was he got 6 arms, to be honest. And as we know in the regular continuity, how he got rid of the extra arms
Oh, okay. I don't want to
Was
get too far ahead.
Yeah, how he got rid of the extra arms was, and this was also the origin story of Michael Morbius.
Yeah.
Because as we find out, Brad's, it's all coming back to him now.
Okay, I know what issue this is.
Yeah, it's all coming back to him now. Boys and girls, some of you probably know what's coming, don't you? You know, this is the story that broke the late Kevin Cushing's heart. Anyway, but basically it was an enzyme from Morbius's blood that Dr. Connors was able to use to synthesize, again, comic book science, folks. So he created an enzyme, and Spider-Man's 4 extra arms magically disappeared, and voila, another one of the dumbest stories of the Silver Age, kind of like, Doc Ock marrying Aunt May. It's right up there. Spider-Man getting 6 arms. Definitely, folks, Stan Lee had run out of gas on this one because issue 100 was his last. And after that, I think Roy Thomas wrote a few, and
he wrote one of my least favorite, which was where Gwen and Peter go to the Savage Land.
Yeah,
and talk about some epic comics leading up to that, and then they go and they meet Gog. They meet Gog. Remember that?
Yeah, and this Gog dies, but Gog is reborn.
He gets better. He gets what's happening to Gog these days? By the way,
I think the thing is, Roy Thomas. I was about to say Roy's name keeps showing up a lot lately, but
and he's been on record for not liking Spider-Man. It's not one of his favorite characters. He likes Conan, and you know what? He ghostwrited the Spider-Man newspaper strip for years. So for a guy that doesn't like Spider-Man that much, he's written a lot of it.
Well, Spider-Man, Spider-Man signs the checks, right? Spider-Man signs a lot of checks for Marvel. A lot of checks. So anyway, we know, Dr. Connors synthesized an enzyme, the 4 arms go away. And I think, Roy Thomas, was just a fill in until they found somebody to take over permanently. I don't think Roy has ever intended to be the
Jerry Conway.
He was and then they got Jerry Conway, who was a 19-year-old wonderkind, and he defined, he did it a very defining era. But anyway,
he did.
This time, however, Morbius cuts himself, jumps into the water.
Okay, hold on. We got to get the panels going. You're going to narrate the panels. All right. Morbius is on a ship.
Yeah, Morbius is on a ship.
It's Morbin time. All right.
Morbin time. Oh Lord, it's Morbin.
Oh no, he falls off the ship, right? What does he do?
He jumps off the ship, but unfortunately, he's bleeding. And
no,
Morbius. What smells blood? What kind of creature smells blood in the water? All right, turn the page. Turn the page.
It's Morbin chomping time with the sharks. Arr, who dares? Who dares eat Morbin time?
He's talking to a shark.
What is he, Roy Scheider? Is he Quint? Is he Richard Dreyfuss? No, you mindless beast. Feel the wrath of Morbius.
Well, that shark feels his wrath, but unfortunately, he brought friends.
No, too many.
And the
blood flowed freely, attracting more sharks, creating a feeding frenzy no man, living or undead, could ever survive. And Laura in chat goes, "Where's Jeff? It's Jeff! It's Jeff the shark ate Morbius, and what if?" Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Classic. God, that's
this is the infamous Morbius. It gets eaten by sharks.
By sharks.
We have had
time listeners know this one. Refresh me, Jared. Did Kevin, when he was on the show, get surprised by this issue? Like he never heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's hysterical. I think he had to track
somebody
it down
else brought it up.
Oh, God,
because I didn't have this issue at the time. I don't believe somebody else brought it up. I think, somebody who was listening to the show or whatever. And so I think you decide to look into it and brought it up. And sure enough, and
that's funny.
He vapor locked. We had to send an ambulance out for him to revive him. That and the carton of cigarettes he ingested, he smoked right before the podcast. As you know, you could always hear Kevin, always hear the lighter or
yeah. He's quit smoking, I think, since. So yeah.
But, anyway. I just listen to those old podcasts and you hear the click of the lighter being shut, and
yeah,
you
can hear George taking a puff too.
Yeah.
Mr. Comic says he remembers the first time Marbius getting eaten by sharks was brought up.
Oh, Mr. Comics,
that's a funny one, man.
You've been around a while, haven't you, Mr. Comics?
Long time.
You probably were when I still had hair and it was dark or whatever. But
I had a mullet and an earring and was dating Mary Jane.
Yeah. It hasn't been so long since you saw Brad have hair, because nobody's seen that for since he got out of middle school. But
all right.
Anyway, so now Spider-Man, of course, is just desperate. He's got 6 arms.
It's no more Morbin time either. No more Morbin.
And he goes to the X-Men, and they can't help him. It's like, God, I'm a mutant. And Professor X decides to say, yeah, well, look at the example of Franklin Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt had polio, and he did okay. Yeah, that's the last thing you want to hear when you got 6 arms. Anyway, so he goes to the X-Men, he goes to the Fantastic Four, and he wants somebody to reverse the 6, get rid of the extra arms. Nobody can. He's stuck with it. But Doc Ock, so he decides he's going to live with it. And like I said, he finds out up against his old foe Doc Ock that it kind of helps against Doc Ock when you have a little extra skin in the game, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
And so he decides, maybe I can make this work, but unfortunately, he has to pay a price for it. But what happens is, he has to. Actually, Gwen Stacy does not die, because by breaking up with Gwen Stacy, no reason for the Green Goblin to do anything to her. So he breaks up with Gwen. Aunt May eventually dies. But anyway, Reed finds a way to camouflage the extra arms. So Spider-Man is able to go out as Peter Parker and not have 6 arms and keep, So anyway, he learns to live with it. Aunt May goes to her ultimate reward, as we can see. And Spider-Man takes on a bevy of bad guys with his 6 arms. And last page, he becomes an inspiration.
It comes inspiration to multiple. Oh, that's a good end. That's nice.
No, it's not.
No,
it's Lord,
you cold-hearted bastard. What? He inspires kids with disabilities, and you say that's not a good ending? What?
No. He comes to terms with the situation and becomes a universally respected spokesman for the physically challenged of the world. This is so...
I don't think you like it because it's preachy. That's probably what JR does.
Honest to God, I've got diabetes.
Because it's so sweet. Oh, God. Look, man. He even takes Mephisto on with 6 arms and defeats him. Look at that.
When you got 6 arms, you never go back.
No, geez.
But actually, it is kind of true. I mean, he's tough enough with 2 arms. He'd be pretty unstoppable with 6. So
all right. So we're going back to the Punisher.
Yeah, we're going back to the Punisher. Now, this story, I picked this story because, honest to God,
what if Venom had possessed the Punisher?
This story makes sense.
Okay.
This is a match made in heaven. And honestly, it's funny because you think, yeah, why else would it be why else would it work out any other way? So what happens?
Real quick, Mr. Comics is wondering, one day your heart will grow 3 sizes.
No, I'll have it replaced before then. Well, I'll get a lump of coal put in there before that happens.
Who wrote this one, JR? Let's take a look.
I think it's Kurt Busiek again.
Kurt Busiek and Luke McDonnell doing that. Ooh, that's a cool looking Venom Punisher. They're gonna make a Funko Pop if we keep talking about it.
Well, I was about to say they've made one of just about everything else.
They probably already have, actually.
I'm kind of. I was about to say what was I thinking of? I was thinking it was like that's something probably Starfleet Academy. There's going to be all kinds of dreadful Funkos there, but anyway. So
hold on, JR. Hold on. They have indeed already made one. Hold on, I got it. I'm going to show it to you right here.
God.
There he is.
Oh, well, good. Okay, yeah.
Look at the teeth on the gun.
Starfleet Academy Funko. No, this is fine. This is cool. I got to find this one.
Look at that.
Is it a real Funko or is it somebody's custom job?
I'm on Amazon right now. You can buy it.
Wow.
Here, let's see how much it is. It's $12. You can get it if you'd like it.
Shit, I gotta go to the store and get this thing.
Well, go to Amazon. It's $12.
Yeah, it must be a brand new one. Really, I did not know this existed. I'm surprised it hasn't happened by now because, I mean, we've had Agent Venom and Zombified Punisher and all
some cookie thinks we're talking about sharks because Jaws is in the suggested.
Oh, there we go.
But we need a Morbius with sharks.
We need to find a Morbius Funko.
Oh, there's a bunch of them. There you go. There's Morbius. You can get him eaten by Jaws. Yeah. Okay, I'm going off track. Hold on. Let me get back to
I got to wrap this up. I think we've been losing. I've driven most of our audience away, I think.
We have 11 people watching us still. Here we go.
So what happened? How many?
11.
Oh my God! I've killed 3/4 of the audience.
Well, it's also 10:30 in the Central Time Zone, 11:30. Oh, we just gained one. They hear us talking about Morbius and sharks. That's
Anyway, what happens in this story is just before, the Punisher, sometimes goes to church, I guess, to confess his sins or, speak to his dead wife and kids or whatever. In this continuity, he just happens to go to the church right before Eddie Brock gets there. And so guess who gets hit with the dripping goo instead of Eddie Brock? Frank Castle.
That makes sense. That does make sense. He likes to go to church. Yep.
And so now the Venom has the Punisher. The Punisher has Venom, and the Punisher is able to come up with bullets.
He's got symbiote bullets.
He is not holding back. He's able to come up with bullets, tendrils. He uses the Venom suit to its fullest potential.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, this does not go unnoticed. Spider-Man, well, first of all, Daredevil figures out something's wrong because Daredevil senses the heartbeat of the Punisher underneath the Venom suit and realizes that is the Punisher in that. Mm-hmm. And Spider-Man goes after the Venom / Punisher, but is too much, but gets his ass handed to him. But the Punisher does not. I mean, the Punisher's self-control kicks in because he says Spider-Man is not a target, but he does realize now that Spider-Man, he knows who Spider-Man is now. Spider-Man is Peter Parker. But I don't think the Punisher cares. The Punisher really doesn't care. So anyway, so Spidey says, I am going to need help with this guy.
Real quick. What? Oh, I'm trying to think. Why is Spider-Man in the black suit? Because that's the Felicia homemade suit, actually, is what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So he goes over to the FF. Oh, look at the sheet thing.
Yeah, this is,
Englehart era.
Yeah. So anyway, kind of, so he kind of says, what they're up against, that, the Punisher and the Venom suit is not a very good, it is not a winning combination for anybody. No. Well, the Punisher is starting to find out that it's not a winning combination for him either, because the Punisher, because as we know in the original continuity, when the Venom suit had Spider-Man, the Venom suit was taking Spider-Man out for nighttime joyrides when Spider-Man thought he was sleeping. and he was doing some crime fighting business without Spider-Man knowing. Well, turns out that the Venom suit is taking the Punisher for a similar ride.
Right when he's sleeping.
Yep.
Slept like a log, he said.
But now so the Punisher now finally realizes that what has happened is that the Venom is taking control, and he realizes. And I was about to say, I think he kills the Kingpin during this too. I kind of skipped over that part. I think it kind of slipped on me, but the Punisher kills the Kingpin. I mean, the Kingpin is no match for Venom Punisher.
He can't take on a symbiote, the Kingpin. Yeah. Oh yeah, look, the tendril goes right around his leg and wraps around.
Oh yeah, there he is. Yeah, he sends. What's her name? What Bloody
his
Mary?
His wife, Typhoid Mary. That's his wife.
Yeah, Typhoid Mary. Oh, he takes out Tombstone too.
Where's Tombstone? Let me see.
He is unstoppable.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Punisher finds out essentially that he's not in control, and he, and he's got everybody coming after him, and he realizes he's got to end this. And so basically, he and Venom kind of get meeting of the minds. And basically says, I am going to take us both out. And I'm going to end this unless I stay in control. I am running this show now. And the symbiote agrees. So the Punisher flies off with his newfangled wings. I'm going through pretty fast.
I need to. Did you get past the?
Yeah, kills the Kingpin, kills Tombstone. The other superheroes come after him. He realizes kind of what has been unleashed, and he enters into kind of, he and the symbiote have a meeting of the minds.
So that's cool.
And he tells the symbiote that he's going to take them both out unless the symbiote lets him stay in control.
All right, there you go. There we are.
Which the symbiote agrees. And so they're off to the races. Spider-Man wants to go after him, but Daredevil says, we've got other problems. With the Kingpin dead and a lot of Tombstone dead and a lot of other bodies laying around, this city's about to explode. We need to put that. We'll take care of the Punisher later, but we got this on our hands.
That one didn't seem too bad. I probably read that one years ago. It seems pretty good. I like this one.
Why would the symbiote want to waste time with Spider-Man when the Punisher will give him all of the adrenaline rushes that he could possibly handle? This is a match made in heaven. The Punisher becomes virtually unstoppable, and Venom gets his fix, and
this is back when Venom wasn't such a good guy.
Right.
Back when Venom was scary. Nowadays, it would be, what if Carnage had possessed the Punisher? Because Carnage is the more evil symbiote. So.
No, but I like this story because I read this story and it's like, that makes a lot of sense. It really does.
Now, this one, I forget what the hook was. It was one of the more modern ones. Had a John Romita Jr. cover on it. I don't even remember what the hook was. It's just Spider-Man versus... Oh, it's what if Spider-Man versus Wolverine... Are they playing off the Christopher Priest issue?
Yes, they are.
Okay, Jeff Parker, Paul Tobin, John Romita Jr. on cover. Came out in 2008.
Yeah.
So let's take a
This is the story, frankly, that requires the greatest suspension of disbelief. Because I don't see this happening. I really don't. But it is notable because, one, the suit that Spider-Man ends up wearing, as we'll find out, is the Alex Ross version
for the Tobey Maguire movie.
For the first Spider-Man movie, I believe it is. Also, this same Spider-Man variation shows up in one of the first Spider-Verse things, but I don't think he's used to his potential. I mean, basically, him, the granddaughter Spider Girl from the Old Man Logan universe, basically this is the hardcore team. But I don't think that. But anyway, so what happens? We know this is a classic what if. I mean, this is a classic Spider-Man Wolverine. Spider-Man goes overseas with Ned Leeds. Ned Leeds gets killed, theoretically. We find out he gets better later. But, Ned gets killed, and Spider-Man finds out that he's in over his head with, KGB and secret agents. Why he's in over his head, I don't know. He's Spider-Man. He eats these guys for breakfast. But anyway, so he's scared shitless. Anyway, there's this spy killing other spies who's, Charlemagne, who's an old acquaintance of Wolverine. They call Charlie. He goes after her to kill her because if he doesn't get to her, somebody else will. Well, what happens is Spider-Man winds up killing Charlie, because she comes back. She sneaks up behind him when he's already in he's got his adrenaline pumping. He turns Punches around her. And basically just clocks her. So this Brutal. Is the one time Spider-Man has killed somebody. He didn't. Yeah. Anyway, so Wolverine tells him, "Hey, bud, it's a tough world." So Spider-Man goes back to America, kind of, feeling like shit, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
However, in this universe, as he's heading back, he doesn't make it to the plane. Wolverine tells him, "Oh, wait, Charlie had a sister. You got to save her."
Of course.
Yep.
Okay.
Peter says, "Fine. Okay."
So what is the title? If you sum this up, what if Spider-Man and Wolverine what?
It's just again, basically that's the hook. Oh, look, we're doing another variation of the Spider-Man Wolverine classic.
What if Spider-Man and Wolverine knew what's her name had a sister? Is that what it is?
No. Essentially, what if they became international assassins?
Oh, okay, so, that's what it is. Okay.
Essentially, Spider-Man winds up, they try to help Charlemagne's sister or whatever. And, basically she's got every other spy coming after her as well. And one of them is the Crimson Dynamo, and Spider-Man kills the Crimson Dynamo accidentally.
Jeez.
Well, now he feels he's reached the point of no return. So he stays over in Europe.
Look at him took him out. Jeez.
Yeah. He stays over in Europe. He gets trained in the ways of the assassin by Nebo, a guy I never seen before, haven't seen.
The fish? The fish?
Huh?
Nemo? The fish?
Nebo. Nebo.
Oh, Nebo.
So he's over in Russia, and this Russian dude or whatever is trained. Basically he's Peter's version of Ra's al Ghul.
Laura in chat, what if WTF is what this one's called?
Yeah. But I picked this because one, it's notable because this character did show up in Spider-Verse, and it's Alex Ross suit. So Spider-Man becomes an international assassin, just like, and he goes around, but he has good motives. He and Wolverine, and they actually go around helping people too. They save Charlie's sister. They give up Nebo to the Russians, so the Russians are no longer coming after Charlie. And they all, become do-gooder assassins and bring joy and peace or whatever.
Oh my gosh, look at what Peter does here.
Yeah.
Boom. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't see this happening. I don't
either.
Doesn't matter if he accidentally killed two people. He's not going to cross that line, and again, we got this Nebo character who trains him. So he winds up exchanging Nebo for Charlie's sister's life, because he's got the hots for Charlie's sister. So he decides to stay over in Europe, and continue being an international assassin with Wolverine. And
what's this for Mary Jane? What's he doing here?
Well, basically he gives Widow a letter to give to Mary Jane saying, "I'm not coming back. I'm going to stay here and kill people." Jeez. So Charlie and Wolverine.
Oh, there you go.
Just become super assassins.
Yeah, that one's not that great. It doesn't sound that great.
I probably didn't do it justice with that quick read, but no, this is one of those that this is bad fan fiction. This is What If is bad fan fiction. Um, no, Peter isn't going to do this. But like I said, it's notable because again, it takes off a famous story. It has the Alex Ross suit, and the character does show up later.
All right, JR's excited for this next one. Look at the cover on this next one, ladies and gentlemen. What if Norman had the Infinity Gauntlet?
This one was just what the hell, because actually there's another story. What if Norman won Siege? Which is a grittier story. But anyway, the thing is, though, both of them wind up the same way. Norman Osborn is his own worst enemy. Yeah. And Norman Osborn will sometimes set into motion things that he cannot control. In the regular continuity, we find out he does it when he takes on the Carnage suit and he thinks he can control the Carnage suit. Wrong. So, again, Norman is his own worst enemy. This is just a wacky story. It's not that good, but
Josh Williamson writing, artist Gordon Suduzka. Okay. What if the Green Goblin stole the Infinity Gauntlet is the name of this one.
Yeah, basically what happens, this is what happens if Norman takes over the world. Okay. Basically, we get a little bit of Norman's background and his abusive father. We all know that Norman's father was an alcoholic and abuser, and one of the reasons why Norman turned out the way he did. Well, in this story, and I kind of got to get ahead of ourselves, because what happened is Norman wins the siege. Norman, as a result of all of his new power and connections by becoming head of the Thunderbolts and the Dark Avengers, he stumbles upon the Infinity Gauntlet.
Why not?
And he kills Thanos and he becomes super businessman and he takes over the world. But what he does is he brings his dad out of the past so his dad can see what a great guy he is now and how successful he is, and how he rules the world. Well, what I did find interesting in Norman's version of dystopia is there are two classic dystopia. This is New York, and instead of the Statue of Liberty, it's the statue of Norman.
Behold my kingdom, Father.
Yeah,
the father.
Yeah, this is kind of goofy.
I mean, does the ego have no bounds? Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, there are science fiction has two classic dystopias. The George Orwell 1984 dystopia, where basically the Soviet, it's a famous novel. Everybody, it's boring as hell for the first 2/3, but it's basically just a broke, dirty, rundown, communist ruled world where everybody's miserable, everybody's poor, everybody's dirty, and the party rules all. Well, then there's the Brave New World, the Aldous Huxley version of dystopia. This version is a paradise. The problem is it's a paradise where everybody is drugged to the nines and live in this, and they live in this stupor, the self-induced stupor of utopia. This, I think, is the kind of dystopia Norman would have. I was trying to think somebody, I had an example of who would have the 1984 dystopia, and it escapes me now. But this is Norman thinking he's doing good. He's brought peace to the universe and stuff. Of course, he's ruling it, but I think he would have a nice, clean. Well, this is how Norman got the powers. Norman found the Infinity Gauntlet and he killed everybody, and he became the Goblin King, But the thing is, and this is how he punishes Spider-Man.
What's he do?
He makes Spider-Man relive the death of Gwen Stacy over and over and
jeez.
over for eternity. This is
Oh,
Norman's revenge.
jeez. So
Well,
mean.
the problem is he's doing it all to impress his dad. His dad's not impressed. And so Norman snaps his fingers and dad becomes compliant. And he's proud of
Oh.
Norman. Well, this doesn't make Norman happy either. So unfortunately, Norman has by getting diverted from his doing his trying to please his old man, Thanos comes to take back the gems, and he starts ruining Norman's utopia. Well, he kills Thanos, and he's fine as the Goblin King, but he's had enough of his sycophantic father. So what does Norman do? He's had enough of Dad, and he is going to wipe Dad from existence. Well, guess what happens?
If you take away your dad,
It's the old, if I go back in time and I kill my grandfather, am I born? So
you're done. The end.
Dumb. But the thing is time travel. It's the thing is it's like, here's the paradox. If Norman wipes himself out from existence, then Norman doesn't conquer the universe. And if Norman doesn't conquer the universe, he doesn't bring his dad back. And if he doesn't bring his dad back, he doesn't wipe his dad out. If he doesn't wipe his dad. So how the new Star Trek movies got away with it was, and this actually I think is how quantum physics, and I'm not a scientist, but this is how it explains how time travel would work, is that if you go back in time and change, you can't change the past. So if you go back and kill Hitler, you don't change your history. You just create a new timeline from that version.
Like Loki, you get a splinter on the time.
Yeah, exactly. Which is actually how Back to the Future Part 2 works. Marty goes back and what is Marty? I forget. Back to the Future 2 is a big disappointment. Oh, Biff goes back
to
and changes
2005, I think, doesn't he?
No, they go to 2015. That's right. They go into the future, and old Biff, gets the sports almanac, because Marty tries to take a future book but Biff gets a hold of it, and Biff goes back in time to, give himself all the scores of all the sporting events for the next 50 years. Biff becomes rich, and he takes over, Fair Valley or whatever the hell, Valley City or whatever it's called. Blah, blah, blah. But anyway, that's the thing. So Doc Brown explains now, Marty says, let's just go back to 1985 and fix this. And it's like, or 1955 and fix it. And Doc says you can't, because we've already created this universe. If we go into the future or whatever, it's going to be the future of this universe. So basically that's how J.J. Abrams got about it. Is he had Spock go back in time and Nero go back in time, kill Kirk's dad, and that creates a new universe, but the old one stay this. So anyway, time travel, as Mark Ruffalo says in the Endgame.
Before we get to the next one, Gary in the Frozen says, I've been wanting to know JR's thoughts on the Universe X story. I believe I recall him saying he liked it. So we're going to do the last one, is Universe X Special Spidey 2001, #1, written by Jim Kruger, cover art by Alex Ross.
And look who does some of the interiors.
If memory serves, isn't it Romita Sr.?
It is Romita Sr.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't do the first part, but he does the dream.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. Is that Mayday? I think that's Mayday, isn't it?
No, no, that's Mary Jane.
Oh, that's Mary Jane.
Yeah. But I'll get to that. The Earth. It started with the Earth X series, and Earth X came out around 1999, and it was Alex Ross and God, who wrote it?
Jim Kruger. We just talked about it. Jim Kruger. And it started, if memory serves, from a Wizard What If. It was in Wizard
Well,
Comics,
actually, the Wizard What If wound up filling in the gaps that, see, Earth X started out with a good idea and it went off the rails. It as someone, and I didn't make this up, it's a saying, but somebody brought it to mind when they were talking about the other, basically it disappeared up its own ass. It started out with some interesting world building that I forget what the Terrigen Mist, which gave the Inhumans their power. Anyway, the Terrigen Mist get out, and everybody now on Earth has superpowers. Well, this just really screws up the world. And Norman Osborn is now president of the United States. So this is that's the first time we see Norman with this. That's kind of the domino that somebody uses the idea, and then now Norman kind of becomes more of a Lex Luthor type villain, which Norman was, the businessman Lex Luthor before but anyway, that's beside the point. So Norman is president of the United States, but Norman is using Oscorp to keep America fed. So Norman's got control of the food supply. But the thing is, the Terrigen Mists have turned Norman into a real goblin. So he wears a Norman Osborn mask to hide his real goblin face, which doesn't make any sense because the whole idea is the Terrigen Mists give ordinary people superpowers. But Norman's already got superpowers. And it doesn't affect superpowered people. So how does it turn Norman into a real goblin? That doesn't make sense. And then there's a new Red Skull, which is a kid, and he comes to New York and he kills President Osborn, and then Captain America kills him, and it just goes into this philosophical bullshit. And Universe X is even worse.
If memory serves, there's like 3 miniseries. There's a lot. The thing is, like the Earth X, actually, Tony Stark is kind of manipulating Norman behind the scenes. Tony could have taken over the world, but he lets Norman take over the world and think he's in charge of the world because Tony doesn't want to run the world, but he and Norman are working together. What happened with the Wizard, though, because in all of Earth X, they don't explain how this world comes into they don't explain anything. In Earth X, but Earth X started as the idea of a fat Spider-Man. What if Spider-Man was fat? And they come up, and that's what happens in Earth X. It's this future. Peter has given up being Spider-Man. Mary Jane has died of cancer. Peter has given up being Spider-Man, and basically, as Ben Grimm says, what happened to you? Were you bitten by a radioactive spare tire? And anyway, but Mary Jane and Peter have a daughter, May. Yeah. However, May does not become Spider-Girl in this universe. May becomes Venom as the Venom symbiote, thinking that it's going to get to Peter through May. The tables get turned and May takes control of the symbiote. Well, so May is out there being Venom, which Peter is not happy about. Peter doesn't believe she's in control of the symbiote. She says she is. So father and daughter have this big rift between them. And so May is Venom. Peter is a miserable old fat guy that walks around. And Luke Cage tries to get him to join the police force. Luke Cage is the chief of police in New York at this time. Anyway, the story goes off the rails. But this story, on the other hand, this is a famous story, actually, in an entirely different way. This, first of all, this is the story that got pulped because I think Al Milgram. Yeah.
Milgram did.
I don't have the copy here, but I imagine it's not on the digital version on Marvel Unlimited. I bet you they have eliminated that.
Milgram did part of the. No, he was the letterer. Milgram was the letterer. Ramita did the art, but Milgram was the letterer. And after there's a scene, I didn't explain, but anyway, there's a scene where Peter.
See if I can find it. It's on a bookshelf.
We don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Oh, okay. All right.
But anyway, he winds up insulting Bob Harris in the spines of these books.
Yeah, I
And,
remember that.
like basically Bob Harris was a bad guy. Ha ha, he's gone. And it's on these books. And it literally, I guess, was discovered at the last minute, because
It already went to
remember
press.
going to the comic book store and saying, "Hey, where's the Earth X Spidey? It was supposed to come out this week." And of course this is a comic book store where the guy's on weed.
We smoked him.
This is the comic book store. I don't want to
rolled them up and smoked them, JR. We didn't recall them.
This is the comic book store I took Spencer to when he was little. Okay, one of them. I mean, I took Spencer to. I ruined Spencer. I ruined that boy's life. I took him to all these comic book stores.
You took him to a comics pot shop.
Well, it wasn't a comics pot shop.
Well, it could have been legal.
Yeah, it was, but they didn't. But anyway,
I hear your dad likes green and Mary Jane.
But no, what had happened?
A Green Goblin.
What had happened was I took Spencer to this shop. Yeah. And now the proprietor was a fine guy. The proprietor is, he's not
as a kite.
But he wasn't this time. But but when I took Spencer there, but he had his friends there, and his friends were high as a kite. And one of his friends starts talking to Spencer.
Oh no, JR.
Yeah. And of course, Spencer's
how old Spencer? 10? Is that what you said?
Yeah, he wasn't even 10. I don't know. I think
Jesus.
He's 5 or 6 years old.
Oh God. Did you look away for a moment and the boy is just talking to a pothead? That's so funny.
But see, the pothead's not being mean or anything. He's trying to talk to Spencer normal, except the thing is when you're high, you're talking loud, you're saying stupid stuff. I mean, it's like, I've never been high. Trust me. I had one vice. It was alcohol. That didn't work out too well. I didn't need another one. So I have never tried pot. Like
evidently you've told this story and I've forgotten it. Gary in the Frozen remembers you telling this story to me and Stella.
Yeah,
it's an early crawl space up.
Got a Gary in the Frozen. How old are you, Gary in the Frozen?
God, that the show is 20 years. I don't remember every JR story.
But I did tell this story before because it's a funny story. But Spencer's like 5 or 6 years old, and this pot, hey, how you doing, little boy? Hey, and Spencer's just standing there terrified. And it's like, oh my God, what have I done? But the proprietor comes out and says, hey, can I help you? It's like, and I say, I'm looking for blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, I got it right here, and so he sells me the comic, and I get Spencer the hell out of the store. And it's like, oh God, I hope he doesn't.
Gary, evidently you heard this story when you were 13.
Oh my God. Gary, have you been around this long? Your life has been ruined too. But anyway, I really got sidetracked because that's a great story. I love telling that story. But anyway, the thing is, it's like the Earth X Spidey was supposed to come out. It was supposed to come out that week. I went there to get that specific issue. Where is it? I don't know. Well, as it turned out, it was caught. Milgram's lettering insulting Bob Harris, who had just been fired.
Yeah,
got caught at the last minute when it was all about to go out. So the entire run got pulped, and they had to print it again. So anyway, but what this story is there's another character, which he's called Spider's Man, which is a homeless guy who and that's why Spider-Man, the left half of Spider-Man looks like the lizard. It's really Spider's Man. Yeah. But anyway, Spider's Man has the ability to project and hypnotize people or whatever, and he controls people's minds. Well, in this future, now Peter has kind of got his act together. He's cleaned up. He's now a member of the police force working for Sheriff Gage. All right. But now he's disappeared and Gage can't find him and Venom and May can't find him. Where is he? And of course we find out, we go through, May's history about, that her dad was Spider-Man and how, Mary Jane didn't tell him that she was sick and dying. So she kind of got a little messed up and, the Venom symbiote got her or whatever. But she lived in horror and fear of the day that Dad would not come home. Well, we find out that Spider's Man came out, or Peter found this Spider's Man. and Spider-Man tried to trap Peter into an illusion. The problem was Peter took control of the illusion. Yeah, and this is May going through the background, how she got Venom, and then things that, how her father and her kind of had issues, and, then he made peace with it. It became a member of the police force, blah, blah, blah.
There's Spider's
All right.
Man.
Anyway, so she finds out that Peter is now in charge of the illusion, and May enters the illusion as Venom, and May finds out that Peter has created in his mind his own version of paradise. And his own version of paradise is that Gwen is alive and he's married Gwen, that Harry is alive and he's married Mary Jane, and Peter and Gwen have a child who they make an oblique reference to. And as it turns out, that the dime that was dropped in the story, how this universe or this dream happened, Peter dreams that he saves Captain Stacy from Dr. Octopus when Dr. Octopus, throws a chimney on him or whatever. He saves.
Am I too far ahead with the images?
I'm just so erratic now, running out of steam. Okay. And the story goes back and forth. The story goes back and forth. It's not quite told in a linear fashion. So I'm just kind of trying to save everybody.
Okay, there
because she finds Spider-Man and she thinks Spider-Man has taken control of her dad, but her dad is actually taking control of Spider-Man. And so she enters the illusion, and the illusion is Peter is middle-aged, he's kind of filled out. But the thing is, by saving Captain Stacy lives long enough to find out that Norman Osborn is the Green Goblin. Captain Stacy gets Norman arrested. Norman goes to jail. Doesn't kill Gwen. Peter marries Gwen. Harry doesn't go nuts. Harry marries Mary Jane. And they have a child who they make an oblique reference to. All right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the child's name is Ben. Surprise. Yeah. Well, then Venom, by entering Peter's dream and becoming a part of it, now she is, first of all, she's furious that Peter has allowed the son of Norman Osborn to marry Mom. She is just this. She hates this reality. His perfect reality is not her perfect reality. And what happens is she then comes across this universe's version of Spider-Man. This Spider-Man is Ben Parker, Peter and Gwen's son. And so Venom or May unmask Spider-Man, and the kid looks like a young version of Captain Stacy, which, Captain Stacy would be his grandfather. So anyway, kind of keep going through the story. Anyway, this is
there he is. Gosh, I don't remember this story at all.
New version of Spider-Man. Basically, Spider-Man and Gwen's son has taken on the mantle. But this is the life.
Mayday.
Yeah, this is the life Peter realized for himself. But he lives. All of his friends are alive. They live to middle age. They sit and swap stories about the old days. Harry and Mary Jane and Gwen. They all know that Peter was Spider-Man, and they all talk about the old days. Him is paradise. But May doesn't. May finds out there's no place in this paradise for her. Yeah. Peter's perfect world doesn't include her. This is horrible. I mean, this is tragic. I mean, this is really sad. Your father creates a perfect world, and you ain't in it. You ain't a part of it. Well, ultimately, May gets him out of the dream, and he and May reconcile. And basically, Peter says, I'm sorry. May, I love you. It just, and really, I think, when you come down to it, Peter isn't his perfect world isn't that May was never born and that he had a son instead of her. It's just that his friends didn't die. And therefore, the world that he, by correcting these things, the world became different. But, he realizes now that that has hurt May. And, this is a good story. I mean, I'm not doing it justice. This, is one of the stories in the X series that, makes sense. It uses Spider-Man to good effect, because otherwise Spider-Man's just kind of a peripheral character out there, and Venom is a peripheral character. But finally somebody brings it together and tells Peter's story.
It's been 20 years since I've read Earth X, and I read that one 20 plus years ago. I don't remember any of it. I remember it being very confusing.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, it goes back and forth, and it's a dream state, but it's kind of, in a way. I mean, it's heartbreaking in a way for May, because it's like, here's your perfect world, and I'm not in it. Yeah. But I think it's the best of the whole Earth X story. It's just it's other, because really Earth X just went into a weird ass direction.
It did. I think it sold well, and they kept making more, and they didn't have enough story to tell.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
Then the original story went off the rails. It was about the Celestials and the Earth being the celestial egg, and Peter became in issue 8. Peter became, they tell the Peter and Spider-Man story or whatever, but that's all part of the Celestials' plan. It's dumb. It's dumb.
So we're going to do some Q&A. If you have a question for me or JR, we will take a few questions for the folks on the line still watching us.
Folks, I hope you got those of you who stuck with it, I hope you got your money's worth. We have 4 hours.
4 hours of content from out of both of us. Do you like the way What Ifs are now? Like, even Mr. Comics talks about how there was one Spider-Man What If that was a 5-issue series. Would you like to see what issue stories like this, so they can have more detailed and fulfilled story arcs? So yeah, they do What Ifs. They make them like 5 issues now. They pad them out instead of cramming them all into one. Like, what if Galactus had the Herald of Spider-Gwen and Hulk? And do you like that? I don't know.
No, I mean, it's all again, it's like, those are really bad cash grabs. It's all a cash grab, but those are just stupid, because the good What Ifs take an event that everybody is familiar with and turns it on its head. But Galactus making Spider-Gwen his herald. What famous event in the Marvel universe is that turning on its head? Good What If is like, and What If had a lot of good, they had What If the Hulk had Bruce Banner's brain? I think that was issue number 2, I think.
And they eventually used that story.
Yeah. And what if Rick Jones became the Hulk instead of Bruce Banner?
They eventually did that story.
What if the world knew Daredevil was blind? What if Captain America was, like I said, referred to earlier, what if Captain America was unfrozen in the 80s instead of the 60s?
What if Wolverine killed the Hulk? I remember that one from volume 1. That was a cool one. Mary wants to know, JR, what's your thoughts on the Disney Plus What If TV show?
I watched the first season. But see, here's the thing. It's the What If of the MCU. It's not the What If of the comic books. And frankly, the MCU doesn't have the storied history. It's got a limited storied history. And because of the whole Spider-Man, Sony, rights issue, Spider-Man, he can appear in cartoons, but apparently not for more than 45 minutes or whatever. Marvel got most of the rights back, but there's still kind of a deal with the rights.
Spider-Man a zombie? And he was
a zombie hunter. He
had Doctor Strange's cloak, I think.
Yeah, Doctor Strange's cloak. Yeah, in the real zombie verse, Spider-Man becomes a zombie like the rest of them, and he eats Mary Jane, and But this is all these are all stories based on the MCU. Like there's not Sharon Carter. what is her name? Peggy Carter becomes Captain America.
Carter. Yeah, you're right.
Which actually I kind of like that because, one, they had Haley Atwell doing it, but it was like, it's like you could almost sense her having a great deal of fun doing it,
Well, it inspired her to be in that Doctor Strange as Captain Carter.
As Captain Carter. I like that one. Because she just had this sheer joy of, and she loves Steve Rogers still, even though he wasn't Captain America, he was still a hero, and he came out in the Hydra Stomper, and she still loves Steve for who he was. So, I like that. But then the thing is, like, what, second or third season, it became all about Captain Carter.
I think I haven't seen many of the episodes.
Yeah,
I still need to finish Marvel Zombies too. I've not finished that, but
I never liked Marvel Zombies. Everybody knows that. I despise Marvel Zombies, but if I'd been the editor, I would never have signed off on it. Boy, would I have been wrong. That thing has printed money for Marvel and Robert Kirkman for decades.
Oh yeah, Robert Kirkman.
Boy, I would have been. I'd have been wrong. I'd have missed the market on that one.
Hey, if you want to know what spider histories we would like to know what spider histories would you like to see in 2026 out of us? Well, we have Gary the Frozen asking he'd love to see Death and Destiny mini with ASM 88 to 91 and the mini tied together.
That is a consideration. I tell you, I have up on my list. Previous request. In fact,
let
me make sure I write some of these down.
Yeah.
Of course, this presumes I won't retire on the 20th anniversary of the podcast, though.
Or if I do too. No, I'm just kidding.
Because Spider-Man's going to hit issue 1,000, and I've about had my fill. But anyway, that's another story.
Once I was out, then they bring me back in.
Yeah.
Mr. Comics would like to see Spider-Man's cosmic. The Power Cosmic? Is that what you would like? The Acts of Vengeance, I guess, is what that's what that is.
Yeah, hang on here. 88 to 90, and the what was Death and Destiny?
Death and Destiny.
That was my story of the year one year, and that's when that's when I heard from Lee Weeks on that one personally.
That's cool.
He wrote and he said, "I'm very flattered by that," and I said, "Hey, I like the story." And he also made a comment that he liked the memorial I had to my father at that time. But anyway, this is what people have told me that they want me to do, and I'm going to try to do some of these. I don't know what order, whatever. Anyway, the Spidey Torch miniseries by Dan Slott. I was going to do a Dan Slott show when we liked Dan Slott because
okay,
folks. I mean, it's a shame things happened the way they did because we were singing Dan Slott's praises. The Spidey Torch miniseries was terrific. One of the best Spider-Man minis. Then he did another, when he was doing She-Hulk, he came up with a story of what if Spider-Man finally sued J. Jonah Jameson for libeling him all these years. And that was a really good story, because Peter, Spidey he got more than he bargained for with that one. That was a good story. And so, and I remember writing in my articles that, and I forget who was writing Spider-Man, but I was saying that, Dan Slott won't buy will never write Spider-Man regularly because you won't buy it. You'll buy multiple copies of the other, which is a shit story,
Well, it was JMS.
JMS. You'll buy that, but you won't buy anything by Dan Slott. Well, boy, did I have to eat my words on that one. Wow.
That was a Mick Kroberger. Yeah.
Whoa.
Mary is asking for Superior Spider-Man Spider History Retro.
Yeah. Let me get through some of these others. The Evil of Mindu has been requested more than once.
Oh, the Black Cat mini?
Yeah, the Black Cat mini. The one that disappeared, the one that was half finished, and then Kevin Smith took 4 years off or whatever before.
He never finished that Daredevil mini either.
Yeah, never finished the Daredevil mini. No. Anyway, the top Spider-Man stories, worst Spider-Man stories, Bagley Spider Slayer, Round Robin Sidekicks Revenge. That one I'm going to do one day because I hate those kind of stories. To me, that is all that was wrong with the 90s.
That was a big Marvel team up stuck in Amazing to pad out for the summer double ship.
Yep. Spirits of the Earth. I don't know that I'm going to do Outlaws or Tiny Adventures, but anyway, we are basically definitely Spidey Torches on and the She-Hulk. That one will be one show. That's on the list. The Evil That Men Do is going to be an hour.
It's a good one
because we got it because that's such a classic cluster. You know,
that's a classic cluster.
It is. We have to talk about because that
Didn't
is one.
Someone request Trouble, the miniseries Trouble.
That will never be done. No.
Okay.
Nope. No, we ain't going to see it. No, and we're never going to touch that one. If I ever revisit the what ifs, because there's a lot of what ifs I didn't cover. Some are good, but a lot of them are bad. I covered some of my favorites here, really. I mean, you've kind of gotten, I'm trying to think of, there's one really I should go back to. What if the clone had lived, instead of dying originally? And then, that one's a good one.
There was one that I was surprised you didn't do, which was in volume 2, which was what if Spider-Man kept the symbiote suit? Number 4. I like that one.
That one is would be in the if I did a show what if where Spidey dies. I did when I was writing my articles. I did that. I did a Spidey dies and
what if Spidey dies?
Yeah, but otherwise, honestly, I could do 12 months of what if in parallel universe stories.
Absolutely.
And I didn't want to do that. So basically I cherry picked my favorites. I'm not a fan of that one. I'm a bit I don't like
it in 30 years, but I remember liking it. But
I don't like the one where Craven actually kills Spider-Man during Craven's last night and eats him.
I remember that one. Yeah,
that was disgusting. That was a piece of garbage. So there's a lot of crap what ifs out there. So.
Yeah. Any other ones that you think you might tackle in 2026 since you're back?
Well, definitely. Well, hopefully I can keep this up. Definitely, I think the 88 to 90 in Death and Destiny is definitely under consideration. But and sometimes I just get these harebrained ideas. But I would say most likely you're going to see Spidey Torch, Evil That Men Do, Round Robin. I'm not sure though, that still leaves me 6 months.
Here's a couple thoughts. Because if you want to do synergy, because the Spider-Man movie is coming out this year, the best Spider-Man and Hulk team ups and the best Spider-Man and Punisher team ups, because they're both in the movie with them. How about that?
Well, actually, I want to take credit for that myself because I don't want to give you credit for anything. Since you're the one who pushed me to the brink of exhaustion doing these three.
We don't have to do another one till March, my man.
That's but actually that's not about, it's funny though. Actually, didn't we do in 2024? I think I did a Brad's pick and we did.
Oh yeah. Spidey Super Stories.
Spidey Super Stories. We did 5. I told Brad to pick his 5 favorite Spidey Super Stories, and we do those. So that's what I'll do. In fact, actually, I did consider a Brad's pick being Spidey Hulk, but that's what we'll do. Brad's pick this year will be a Spidey Hulk stories.
Okay. All right. Well, we got to do the first appearance of Norman with 14 with Ditko. I mean, that's not
on the list right now. No, I
thought you said I'm picking the Hulk Spidey stories.
No, that's your one for the year. You only get one.
Well, do I get
maybe 2027?
No, wait a minute. Hold on. If we're doing the best Spidey Hulk stories for an episode, that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, shoot the senile old man with some.
Okay, so I'll pick some Hulk and Spidey team ups, and we'll talk about them. Is that fair?
You're absolutely right.
Okay, there you go.
Green Goblin's first appearance was also
it's in Hulk Spider-Man 14.
Hulk.
Absolutely.
Like John.
You get a little something, I get a little something. It works out.
Like Karnak the Magnificent used to say, "You are correct, Bozo Breath."
Thank you, Ed McMahon.
Yeah. You are correct, sir.
I mean, is there very many good Spider-Man and Punisher stories besides ASM 129?
Well,
you go into the Matlow stuff in the 80s.
There were several of them. I mean, there's enough to do a show. I mean, there's 129. Yeah. Then Punisher appears like 6 months later in the first Tarantula story.
That's good.
And then appears in, and then he does this one, that one, the other one. This one's a little touchier. That one is the Giant Size Spider-Man 4. I don't like that one very much. That's where Spider-Man go. Basically, the Punisher and him go to South America.
I barely remember that one. I remember where he had Nightcrawler, 160, 161,
161 and 162. Yeah.
And
then there's like
201.
201 and 202. There's enough Punisher stories to do. That's a consent, but I think we'll do the Hulk. I think we'll do the Hulk instead as a Brad's pick. You know?
Do you remember the one in Spec where he the Punisher started shooting litterers or jaywalkers or something, and
that was like a Amazing Annual 13, I think. I'm trying to think of Frank Miller.
Oh no, the Frank Miller one, the annual. The Frank Miller Spider-Man, Punisher, and Doc Ock. I think we may have done that before, but annual 14 or 15, I forget.
Yeah, I'd have to look. Yeah. But yeah, that one's dumb. In fact, I think that was when I think they were just. Oh, actually, Spectacular has an issue, The Trial of the Punisher.
That's what I'm saying.
We could do that one.
Remember, he got arrested for shooting jaywalkers.
Yeah.
Gary the Frozen once Back in Black for Spider History.
That has been under consideration.
Yeah. That came out right when we started the podcast.
And there's also a What If Back in Black, where basically Spider-Man kills the Kingpin, and Aunt May has a hissy fit for some reason.
Yeah. All right, JR, any final thoughts? Anything else you want to talk about?
Oh no, it's past my bedtime.
Here's one more. We got one more request. Guagnar. I haven't seen that handle before, so welcome. If it hasn't already been done, how about Spider-Man crossovers with other franchises? Transformers and Superman. Ooh, we've done Superman.
We have done Superman. We did the first one too, but the second, we've done Superman. I have not seen any of the Transformers crossovers. I've not seen.
It's only one issue. It's Transformers number 3.
Okay, yeah, I've not seen that. I've not seen the one.
I read that one.
Key and Godzilla. You know.
The Godzilla one. Yeah, that's.
I have. That's not a bad idea. There's also the Damage Control series, but I like to pick stories that I've read, and I have not read some of those. So,
well, we already did Spider-Man, Batman.
I think we've done Spider-Man, Batman, but I do keep a list of all the Spidey histories we've done. But
it's in the YouTube, just under Spider Histories. You can go look at them. So, all right. Any final thoughts, JR? You're going to be on the pillow in 3 minutes.
Just about. Just about. And but the thing is, usually you're able to slide right into a Patreon exclusive with Spider Satellites, but I don't think
Not
we
tonight,
got one
baby.
of those.
I dedicate a whole night to you.
And thank you for the handful out there that stayed with us this whole 4.5 hours.
No doubt.
You're what makes this worthwhile.
And now, folks, you can stop messaging me. JR is back on Spider History. He is back for 2026. There you go.
Hope so.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Hope so. Life takes us in strange direction, folks. Enjoy it while you got it.